Hi, everybody. Welcome to the NSU Alumni webinar today. We're so happy to have you here. Our topic today is a great one. We're going to have a conversation with NSU's President, Dr. George Hanbury. We thought our alumni would like to hear from him and learn a little bit about how our university's been dealing with the COVID-19 epidemic and how we're preparing to bring our students back in the fall. So we're excited to have him with us today. If I haven't had the chance to meet you yet, my name's Jennifer O Flannery Anderson, and I'm the Vice President for Advancement and Community Relations here at NSU. So the Division of Advancement and Community Relations has organized this webinar today as a resource to our alumni, our supporters, and our community members. It's also going to be available on Facebook and YouTube as a resource long-term through the NSU Alumni Association. And all of you have been kind enough to submit questions ahead of time. So we'll let Dr. Hanbury make some opening comments, and then I'll be able to share all the questions that you have presented before. So Dr. Hanbury, thanks very much for joining us. I know you've been busy today. I think to start things off, might be interesting to just let our guests know how we've been dealing with the COVID-19 and what things you and your administration have been focused on.
Well, thank you, Jennifer, and thank all of you for tuning in today. You know, even though we've gone through and are continuing to go through this pandemic worldwide, the opportunity to expand our reach through technology has really been improved through such as the Zoom program today. Matter of fact, I think it's given me a greater opportunity to speak to alumni such as you than what I have done in the past, because every other time I've had to do a face-to-face and fly all over the country, or at least in the state, to talk to alumni. So I really welcome this opportunity and hope that maybe we'll be able to even continue it as time goes by and we come into some sense of normalcy prior to COVID-19. That being said, in early March, like March the 11th, we had some students returning from Ireland in study abroad program, about 29 students and three chaperones, faculty. And on the 12th of March, I got a call from Dr. Elaine Wallace saying, President Hanbury, two of those people, one student and one chaperone, have been tested and had COVID-19. Wow. Talk about going from one of the most wonderful days and parts of the best year in our history for the attraction of students and undergrads and graduate and professional, and the year of 2020 where Vision 2020 and all of the matrices were coming to existence and fruition. I felt like I'd been hit right in the stomach. And from that day, from the 12th, the 13th, we quarantined over 50 people because even though it was 29 people and 3 students, we had no idea how much they had met their roommates or been in contact with their roommates since they'd been back. So we literally self-quarantined 50 people, and a couple of people went to the hospital. No one was seriously affected, but some had some pretty rough up and go times. And we kept the residence halls open and have remained open. But on the 13th of March, I indicated to everyone we would suspend classes from the 13th through the 23rd. And during that period of time, that 10 days, we would train all faculty members to be able to know how to teach remotely and utilizing the same technology I'm responding to you, Zoom. So on the 23rd of March, we began 100% of our 5,000 courses completely online, and have been completely online and will remain online until we can have the return of the sharks sometime in August. So it's been an interesting period of time, and very, very pleasantly surprised. We maintained our enrollment completely online, even things as traditional as law or psychology, and exercising our labs online was quite a challenge. And but we got through, and we had satisfaction surveys from our students. So it has been interesting, and one in which I've tried to communicate even with the alumni in order to do that. Now, some students who have to meet their clinical requirements in the health professions came back this month and have been back. And since the governor of Florida has opened up clinics to non-emergency, our clinics are fully operational, but we are testing temperatures through thermodynamic and also full mask physical separation. Our clinic faculty and students have full PPE, from shields to double masks to full gowns, gloves, and even booties. So we're taking all the precautions that are necessary. And then on May 1st, which was most important for our undergrads and even our graduate and professional students, I put out a notice that we will equip every classroom, whether it's regional campus or the campus here in Fort Lauderdale-Davie, with not only the computers on the lectern for the faculty member, but cameras in the room, as well as sound actuated devices, so that if a student felt uncomfortable coming to class or had flu-like symptoms and couldn't come to class, the professor will have, come August when we open, the professor will be able to do double duty. Will be able to teach face-to-face, but will also be able to teach remotely through Zoom right at his or her lectern. So the faculty are going through training again and preparing themselves for all 750 classrooms that the university has. So I think we're very well informed, and we will be presenting probably within the next week a return of the sharks protocol that we'll be sending out to all faculty and staff, and then we'll be sending out similar protocol for students on what to expect coming back in, how everyone will be tested as a baseline, what our athletes will do, what we'll be doing in athletic programs, how we will be occupying dorms, how we will be going to classrooms, requiring that everyone have masks on all properties within the university and in classrooms, and professors having masks and maintaining physical separations. We'll have all kinds of hand sanitizers everywhere. And I think we'll be fully prepared. And we've made arrangements with the health department that anybody tested that has symptoms will be quarantined until the results of the test are returned. If it's positive, they'll have to be quarantined for 14 days. If it's negative, obviously, they'll be allowed to go back to class or teach or work. So, and then we'll also be having the requirement that in some places it may be difficult for our staff to be at 6 foot separation. So we'll have to take turns of working remotely and working at
rotations.
Campus. So a whole lot of things that probably more detailed than you really needed to know. But that's what we're prepared for to open. And it's been an interesting aspect because during this whole time, we're still been able to maintain our enrollment. And for fall, undergraduates actually seems to be ahead of last year. Mm-hmm. We will get our 2020 freshman students by the end of 2020. Matter of fact, we have right now registered 2,320 students. So we're about 300 students over our 2020 for 2020. That's the entrance, which would put our total undergraduate close to 6,000 students. Our professional programs of medicine, dentistry, in all of the health professions have equal or exceeded last year enrollment. We won't know all of our enrollment in education, business, law, psychology, some of the more traditional programs at NSU until sometime in mid-August. So unfortunately, in order to prepare for everything with COVID-19, we've had to spend or planned on spending about $20 million more than budgeted in this year. So I've got everybody going through and looking at stress tests on how we're going to have to try to reduce our expenditures of our close to $600 million budget.
Thanks, Dr. Hanbury. We have several alumni, Dr. Randy Katz, Dr. Nicholas Karras, Dr. David Dwayne Mahone, and they all had questions surrounding how COVID-19 has impacted our health professions division, how we're adapting clinical training, and how we see our own healthcare education adapting long-term as a result of going through this pandemic.
Well, I think the most thing, which I think will be almost, it has accelerated the future of medicine in telemedicine and telehealth.
Yeah.
We have exercised that. We have purchased all the software, and where we were planning on phasing into it, we were thrust into it. And I think it's been a good thing because it's allowed us to be able to educate our students on clinical aspects through telehealth and telemedicine. And because of the pandemic, rules have been relaxed a little to allow us to do more telemedicine and telehealth than what was previously allowed. And it has been a tremendous aid in getting health out to rural areas as well as now urban areas that can't go outside. So it's been great. And I think that's been a positive move out of this crisis that we are experiencing. In the meantime, technology has, we have utilized an advanced technology in our osteopathic medicine and allopathic medicine to aid us where you don't need physical context on cadaver labs or anything of that nature, because everything now can be seen and sliced and diced through color versus a cadaver lab. So the whole educational process in medicine and in dentistry has changed so drastically, and it's been accelerated because of COVID-19. So I think some of the many things that are going to be evolving with COVID-19 will become the permanent new normal for healthcare delivery, not only in our clinics, but through our hospitals and through our private physician offices throughout the world.
Aside from health professions, what are some other areas at the university where you saw people really adapting to COVID? You know, we've talked about the library before and even the art museum, our university school. Can you talk a little bit about how they've embraced this and been innovative and so responsive?
Well, the museum, even the golf course, and the library all exercised virtual tours, virtual reading, virtual programs that had been previously recorded. So they become almost a production studio with a producer, director, and some pretty good actors that have been involved.
Performers, a lot of good performers.
Yes. So I think technology has really come to the aid. And if this had been, say, 10 years ago, prior to the advent of all of even an iPhone or the cameras, that it's fine camera quality that I'm looking and talking to you today on, we would not have been able to communicate. We would have been really lost. And talk about depression, I think you would have seen mental health counseling, of which we have utilized tremendously through technology, because we have given counseling to people who are depressed by being so cabin fevered with the COVID after being cooped up 3 months. So it's been interesting in multiple colleges throughout our campus.
Dr. Hanbury, you talked about Vision 2020 and the element of undergraduate student enrollment reaching 2020. Can you talk a little bit about what's next? What are some of your big goals for the next 5 or 10 years? Once we get through COVID, what are some things you're really going to be focused on changing and expanding at the university?
Well, we're definitely looking at, since now this is 2020 and come December 31st, we'll be into 2021. So what all the deans and the vice presidents and the trustees have been going through and are continuing to go through an enhanced Vision 2020, and we're calling it Vision 2025. We have been working on matrices just like we did back in 2010 on what we wanted to see accomplished, such as 2,020 students the first year as freshmen by 2020, and grade point averages, SAT averages. The same thing is true with the medical schools, the law school, any of those. We had matrices, and we had met or exceeded over almost 90% of everything that we said we were going to do. Now we are going through the matrices of where we want to be, and instead of being recognized as excellent, we want to be recognized by the end of 2025 as preeminent. You see, back in 2010, NSU was unranked. But by changing and increasing our academic standards, and in undergrad, SAT, we have increased retention rate and graduation rates, and all of those aspects that U.S. News and World Report ranks colleges that have huge undergraduate programs. Because we were 80% graduate and 20% undergrad, and our undergrad were unranked, the university was unranked. And what universities are judged by are their undergraduate program. So by raising the ranking of the university because of the undergraduate program, it raises the reputation and the quality of the degree you received from NSU. So back in 2010, we were not ranked at all. Today, and for the last 3 years, we've been ranked in the top 200. Well, by the end of 2025, I want to see us in the top 100 universities in this nation. Right now, of those top 200 universities, we are the youngest in the top 200 throughout the nation. So obviously, by 2025, if we get into the top 100, as I think we can, we will be the youngest university in the nation in the top 100 national research universities, which means that the quality of your degree and the reputation of your degree is going to be even higher than it is today, because NSU is now nationally ranked with other major national research doctoral universities. So we got a lot of plans, but we really need y'all's continued engagement and coming back to the university and maybe mentoring some graduate and professional students or undergrads. So I would look forward to you coming back when we have alumni reunion, or anytime when we are allowed to congregate back again.
Dr. Hanbury, one of our alums, I think it's Mary Leedy Lindsay, she was interested in if we're going to be expanding the PsyD program at Tampa. So I was thinking maybe you could talk a little bit about our regional campus network, where those campuses are located and focused, and if we're going to be doing any expansion of the psychology program, and then also at the Puerto Rico campus.
Oh, the psychology program is phenomenal. We are ranked number 9th in our clinical psychology in the nation when I talk about rankings. And the reputation is already preeminent in our psychology program. But we have, as many of you may know, we have regional campuses in Jacksonville, Orlando, Tampa Bay, which is our newest one, and I'll talk a little bit about that in a few minutes, Miami, Palm Beach, Fort Myers, and San Juan, Puerto Rico, and Miramar. So we are really, just as our new logo says, NSU Florida. We are Florida's university because we cover more areas than any other university in the nation. Most of our programs at the regional campuses have evolved into our health programs, whether it's physician assistant, nursing, nurse practitioner, physical therapy, occupational therapy, respiratory therapy. Matter of fact, we gave 13 ventilators to hospitals up in Palm Beach area, as well as PPE equipment from our clinics. But we also offer education, business, and psychology at many of the regional campus, and the program is being very well looked at in our newest campus in the Tampa Bay, 100,000 square foot, beautiful building. I encourage you to look at that, and Dean Crosby is indeed looking at and exploring the psychology clinical program in the Tampa Bay area. So stay tuned, and we should be able to make some type of announcement. She's still doing her due diligence, and I hope we will be able to do so. We're even exploring opening a clinic through the generosity of Dr. Patel for our medical students, and obviously HCA is one of our partners, as well as the other hospitals in the Tampa Bay region, for our medical students to be doing rotations and eventually residencies. So the new program, made possible by Dr. Karen C. Patel, has been wonderfully received in the Tampa Bay area. You know, we were in Tampa Bay for almost 20 years, but out on I-75. And now that we've moved right next to the airport, people think we're brand new, but we've been in the Tampa Bay region for many years, and our the whole program of NSU has been opening the eyes to the people in the Tampa Bay region, from Tampa to Clearwater to St. Petersburg. All of that region is now coming and recognizing that NSU has some phenomenal education programs there. So I hope we'll be able to see the clinical psychology program blossom over there as well.
One of our alums, Dr. Nilda Botch, was asking about Puerto Rico. Do you think we'll be able to expand any programs in Puerto Rico?
I've been looking several years now to expand either nursing or nurse practitioner in a pharmacy, as well as physical therapy. Both Dean Rutherford and Dean Wilson have been to Puerto Rico. We are exploring that. I think it looks good. One of the big problems I've had is the build out that I need to do in order to offer the educational program. I think we can attract the students. I'm just trying to explore how I can find the money to make the improvements, the capital outlay, to be able to offer the educational program. Our campus right now in San Juan, Puerto Rico, is only large enough to be able to take care of the education students that are in Puerto Rico and the pharmacy students. I need more space in order to do physical therapy for the tables and the larger classrooms that are necessary for nursing and physical therapy. But there's definitely an opportunity for us to get there. I just got to figure out how I'm going to get the money to do it.
Yeah, the equipment costs, as we've discussed, are really high, and you have to have virtual labs and all kinds of things. So I think I'm glad to know we're still working on it.
So any alumni, Jennifer, know of any particular donor that would like to help us find that money? I constantly tell the staff I need OPM, other people's money, in order to try to do a lot of the programs we need to expand in. So,
one of our alums, Brad Donahue, said it's very rare for leaders to be committed at universities for such an extended tenure as you've had. What do you feel are your greatest reasons for leading NSU all of these years?
First of all, I fell in love with NSU 22 years ago. And I've never stopped loving this beautiful university and wanting to be a major part of it. I think it's been the most noble thing I've ever been involved in, is to help young men and women to sit at the table, to help create their values and expand their mind and help them to pursue their careers as they develop into leaders throughout the nation. So for 13 years, I was the chief operating officer. And then the last now 9, going on 10 years, the board saw fit to have me as their president and as your president. So I have been fortunate. I have been blessed. The good Lord's kept me on earth a little longer, and the trustees have continued to maintain their confidence. And I want to see Vision 2025 now come to fruition. And I also enjoy teaching once in a while and getting into the classroom. And what I enjoy most is the town hall meetings where I go out to all the regional campuses, and I even have town halls online for students who are completely online. Almost a third of our students are indeed completely online. So talking to the students throughout the years, getting their ideas and their thoughts have made me a better president, because I'm always asking them things of, how can I serve you better? What am I doing that I shouldn't be doing? What am I doing that I ought to do more of? And what am I doing that I ought to just stop doing? So And some of them have been pretty good and blunt about what I should stop doing or what I should start doing. So it's been a wonderful ride, and I have thoroughly enjoyed it.
Well, final question. Our time was 2:30, and we're just getting there. So I think final question is: we're lucky to have our alumni on with us today. So can you tell us how they can be helpful to the university to help advance all of the things that you've talked about and to help contribute back to our students and our faculty?
Well, first of all, I want to thank all of them who contributed to NSU Cares. We did send out another notice of the NSU COVID-19 Student Support Fund. I had a lot of students, some of our MBA students, they in the service industry working their way through college,
right.
And they got unemployed and have been unemployed, and said, but for that was that little bit of gap, they would not be able to come to NSU, even continue online. So we started the program to try to help those students who were adversely affected. And many of our alumni gave, and you've given to NSU Cares, and I would hope that you would continue to do so. Many of you have come back, as I've suggested, and mentored either undergrads, graduate, or professionals, or given lectures, or participate in alumni events and being engaged. One part of the thing with the rankings that I was talking about is not how much the alumni give, but what percentage of the alumni give. And right now, we're kind of low. We're right around 2%. I'd like to see us get up to at least 5%. And what makes it so hard is no matter how hard our alumni association works to get alumni to give anything, we graduate each year somewhere right around 7,000 students a year. Well, that does nothing but add to the the numerator gets larger and the denominator stays the same, so it makes the percentage hard to go up. But I would like to see right around 5% of our alumni to give. Matter of fact, that's what we're going to try to see by 2025. And many other universities, especially those in that top 100, have 10, 15, some 20%. I think we can still be in the top 100 getting up to 5 because the percentage of alumni giving is about 5% of the total to go toward the rankings. And if we can get it up to 5%, I think we'll be doing good. So your help would be good. Is send me $5 or $10. That would be wonderful. Don't buy a cup of Starbucks. You can't go there anyway. So send it to Jennifer in the Alumni Association.
Well, Dr. Hanbury, thanks for taking time to do this webinar today. I hope everyone enjoyed it. If you have other questions, you're welcome to send them in, and we'll do our best to get them answered and back to you. We really appreciate everyone's support of the university, and you've all given us the ability to be nimble and innovative in this really challenging time. And we hope that your experience at NSU has helped you be nimble in your response to COVID as well. So I hope everyone stays safe and well, and that we can see each other in person soon. So thank you very much. Bye-bye.